Well, Black and White Network supporters, you know what time it is. It is that time of the week. Not that time of the month. This time of the week. That's right. It's that time, this time of the week, where we talk about, of course, the violence and mayhem going on in Chicago. Marxist Mayor Brandon Johnson, Chicago, from this past weekend. Now, 24 people got shot. Unfortunately for the criminals, it seems their aim was a little worse than it was last week. 15 got shot last week. 5 actually died. Only 4 this week perished by way of thugs and hoodlums running amok in the streets of Chicago. And also, you guys know I love to tie these in with other stories that are involving said mayor in Chicago, and nothing like a little progressive pro-Hamas action to get you going, as now the progressives in Chicago, shut up, dog, in Chicago are urging for a ceasefire. Pro-Hamas progressives. My goodness. Oh, pressuring the mayor. You know what? The mayor is catching it from all sides, and I love it. So's Joe Biden. Joe Biden's getting crushed. I feel like anybody remember the scene? I'm going to nerd out on you here, but you guys know we got an entertainment channel, covered Star Wars for a long... This used to be a Star Wars channel, believe it or not. Anyway, Death Star, Han Solo, Luke, Leia, Chewie, they're all in the trash compactor inside the bowels of the Death Star, and the trash compactor is starting to close in on him. That's what's going on with Brandon Johnson right now. He's in the trash, I probably should call it trash bag compactor known as the Chicago streets. He's in that right now, much like Biden. They're in a pressure cooker, catching it from all sides. Either it's his age or his mental acumen, or Biden can't run. Oh, he's not progressive enough. He's too progressive, all of which I find hilarious. It does greatly concern me that this many people are pro-Hamas in this country, and that terrifies the shit out of me. But to see a Marxist mayor feel like he's in peril, let us not forget the migrant issue, well, that does kind of bring a crack of a smile to my face. And this is Politico, folks. And, man, I'm going to tell you, some of the shit they say in this article, we'll get to it in a second, but let's do this. More than 30 progressive City Hall staffers. What does that tell you about Chicago? 30 progressive City Hall staffers. Man, be careful who you hire and who you vote in, folks. Have written a letter to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson urging him to support a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. The staffers invoked the 2024 Democratic Convention. Oh, shit. Which is planned for Chicago next year, saying a ceasefire is, quote, directly tied to showing that our city is united in support of human rights, according to the letter. I would love to know how many Jewish Americans are in Chicago taking note of Brandon Johnson's actions here. Just wondering. Which was obtained by Politico. Quote, if we are planning to spend public dollars to support the convention, we cannot invest in programs that do not support calls for peace. Oh, the Democratic Convention is now under duress, folks. The staffers did not sign their names. Of course they didn't, cowards. But described themselves as, quote, a diverse coalition. Oh, shit. Here we go. You know we've driven off the train tracks when diverse coalition is the first 2 words. And of 30-plus staffers across automatic offices and the mayor's office. God, you walk in there, the whole group is a bunch of morons. Unbelievable. Their letter says a ceasefire is, quote, of the utmost urgency. This is the part that baffled me. As the death toll in Gaza has exceeded 12,000, quote, with the majority being children. What? Excuse me? Question mark? Who determined that? Majority are children that have perished. Who'd you get that from? Hamas themselves? Did Did they memo that in to Brandon Johnson's offices there, the Chicago office? Your local Hamas contact sent you that BS quote? The majority being children. You see how this is, folks? The media is the real virus. The media is the real virus. I've got a video coming, another one on this channel, about the media and Trump. That's coming. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a temporary pause in fighting in exchange for the release of the October 7th Israeli hostages captured by Hamas, but activists are calling for a permanent ceasefire. The letter follows protest letters written by White House staffers calling on Biden to pursue a ceasefire by congressional staffers, including progressive Senator Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is in on this? Okay, that's interesting. Pro-Palestinian activists have been targeting who they see as their closest ally. Oh, boy. Johnson himself is a former organizer of the Chicago Teachers Union and was backed by the pro-Palestinian group Democratic Socialists of America during the 2023 campaign. Man, Chicago is full of progressive leftist kooks, folks. And you're seeing it right there. And they've got their nasty little fingers all up in the politics there. Wow. So Biden and now Brandon Johnson are feeling the squeeze from all sides of the political party. I mean, I just can imagine how many Jewish Americans have shot the deuce to the Democratic Party in the last 8 weeks. Oh, no, we're out. We're voting Republican. We'll be voting red from now on. Now that everything in the universities, everything on the streets, all this has been exposed, part of the political party, the people in politics, we're out of this party that's crazier than a shithouse rat. We're done. We're done with it. Here we are, folks. Chicago shootings. 24 shot, 4 fatally in weekend violence across the city, in case you're keeping score at home or even if you're alone. Chicago Sun-Times, this is Breitbart, maintains a database which shows 532 people have been killed in Chicago through the 19th of November. 532 people have been killed. Wow. I mean, yeah, let's blame the guns, not the thugs in the streets. We wouldn't want to offend anybody by using thugs and hoodlums in the streets. It's the guns' fault that these fine, upstanding citizens would not be causing chaos in the streets. If only there were strict gun laws, in the strictest gun laws in the United States, in Illinois, that's obviously working to flawless fashion. All right. At least 24 people have been shot, 4 fatally. This should be a final tally, being that it's Tuesday and not Monday. 2 boys were found shot to death Southside Alley Sunday afternoon. Man, in Chicago, it don't matter. 7 a.m. in the morning, going to get a paper, middle of the day, 2:30 p.m. You're getting burned down in Chicago. Boys were found in the 800 block of East 89th Place in the city's Burnside neighborhood. Just before 2:30 p.m., CPD said they were pronounced dead on the scene. Sound like they just got the call and showed up. Nobody is in custody. Area 2 detectives are investigating. A 16-year-old boy shot and killed inside a home in an Austin neighborhood. Yeah. Look, a lot of the people causing this violence are, I understand they're not technically adults, but you're getting pretty damn close. I think you ought to be tried as an adult if you're 16. That's my personal feeling for violent crime. A shooting occurred at 8:34 p.m. inside a home in the 100 block of North Parkside Avenue. Police said the boy got into a physical altercation with a 33-year-old man who shot the teen. Another 16-year-old boy was shot Saturday, Belmont Central neighborhood on the northwest side. The boy was walking at 6:30 a.m. 6300 block of West Belmont Avenue when 3 people pulled up in a dark car and an occupant fired shots. He was shot in the leg, took himself to Community First Medical Center, where he was listed in good condition. Hours earlier, a man was shot during an armed robbery attempt in Gage Park. My God, it's crazy. Just one right after another, right after another. At about 10:35, two men, 2637, were shot. First block, East 110th Street, Chicago. The younger man was shot in the torso, was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center where he perished. And last week, 15 were shot, 5 fatally. So there's your tally of chaos for the weekend for Chicago. Brandon Johnson, Joe Biden, they cannot catch a break at this time. And look, I find it hilarious that they're under fire from their own parties because it's sort of what they get and it's what they deserve. But it is sad that we're seeing this many radically warped minds in this country right now. That is frightening, folks. It is. I have been floored by this since it has started. It's something me and John have talked about, something me and my wife have talked about. Disbelief. But disbelief by the number of American citizens that are supporting terrorists. It's crazy. We're in bonkers time that, and look, we saw it that the Osama bin Laden letter or whatever it was and went viral on TikTok, and the sympathy or empathy or whatever of support that scumbag of the, one of the top 10 scumbags in the history of the planet is getting sympathy. And oh man, it's unreal. It really is. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next.